Day message this year, she very clearly showed her support and affection for Camilla, saying she should be a future Queen Consort. She appreciated how much of a support Camilla is and will continue to be, especially in the coming days and weeks, for her son as he takes over this role. Queen Elizabeth II had when it came to continuing to shape how the future of the monarchy is going to look.
Rhiannon, many thanks. Let's cross now to our political editor, Beth Rigby. Beth, we just heard a statement from the Prime Minister, and what a day, what a week it has been for Liz Truss. Just became Prime Minister, just unveiled a major economic plan, and now speaking for the nation about her sadness, her devastation about the death of Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, Donna, this is a Prime Minister who has been in the post for but 2 days and actually only was with the Queen a couple of days ago. Now, barely into number 10, having to come out and try and somehow speak for the nation and to the nation about the loss of Her Majesty the Queen. She gave a speech, I think, that was in 3 parts, really. The first, in which she spoke of the devastation of the loss of the Queen. She said that the Queen was the rock on which modern Britain was built, that she had been there for all of us through thick and thin, as though our nation, our post-war nation, grew and evolved. The constant always was the Queen. She talked of her devotion to service, so an acknowledgement and an attempt to try and encapsulate that extraordinary reign of Queen Elizabeth. She then went on to talk a bit about her personal reflections, talking about how the Queen had been a personal inspiration to her as well as many Britons, talking about that meeting. We saw those lovely pictures of them together but 2 days past, of that meeting with the Queen, where Liz Truss spoke about how Queen Elizabeth still showed that devotion to duty. And then she moved on to the final section, in which she said that it was a time to come together and mourn the loss of the Queen with family and friends, but also to look forward to the continuation of the monarchy. And she spoke about a nation needing to come together to support Prince Charles III as he ascends to being the king. And she said that we offer him our loyalty and devotion. She said, with the passing of the second Elizabethan age, we usher in a new era, ending that speech, God save the king.
Beth, many thanks. Beth Rigby, our political editor there. Let's go to my colleague Mark Austin, who's in Balmoral, where the Queen's death was announced, where the senior members of the royal family have gathered and are there this evening.
Yes, good evening from Balmoral, where this evening the Queen is at peace. She is surrounded by Prince Charles, King Charles, now Princess Anne, Prince Edward, Prince Andrew, also Prince William is here, and we're told that Prince Harry is on his way now from Aberdeen Airport to here in Balmoral. There were well-wishers here, but once the announcement came, the police slowly, very politely asked them to leave. The roads are closing to anything other than traffic relating to the royals, and it is just very quiet, incredibly quiet. It is the saddest of evenings here, because this was a place that she truly loved. The people here loved her. She loved being here. The statement said she died peacefully. This was a place she was often living peacefully. She loved the peace of this place. She loved the countryside here. She loved the fresh air, and she loved the one commitment that she had here, which was the Braemar Highland Games, and she enjoyed the culture of the place, and she just loved being here. So it is an enormous sadness this evening to people here, but of course to people right across this country. And I think I mentioned that King Charles, the princes and princesses are here. But it's worth remembering that they are also sons and daughters and grandchildren. And this is an evening when, you know, our thoughts, the country's thoughts, will obviously be with them. And but in so many ways, the Queen, of course, was also a mother and grandmother to the whole nation. So this is just the saddest evening. With me is our Scotland correspondent, James Matthews, who spent, well, you've been up here quite often, haven't you, when the Queen has been in residence. It is a place that she loves.
She does. And it's a place where she would have been comfortable spending her final days. And I think we can draw comfort from what we know of her final days. I've spoken to people who saw her in recent weeks, and she was very much a woman of the land out here, getting out, enjoying the rolling countryside around her. She was seen walking her corgis, picnicking with her lady-in-waiting in her mother's fishing hut on the banks of the River Dee, having lunch in Glenmick, where she has a cottage, which had been refurbished in a way that was appropriate to her reduced mobility in her final days. She liked this place. Her family liked this place. They enjoyed being together as a family in good times and in bad. You know, we stand here in a place where 25 years ago the family were located when Princess Diana died. We saw the pictures of Prince William driving his uncle, Prince Andrew, Sophie and Edward into Balmoral about an hour and a half ago. That face of grief on Prince William's face was similar to the look of grief I saw on the child Prince William when his mother died. When we watched Prince William and Harry walk this road, looking at full tributes to their mother. Tonight they will be reunited again. Harry has landed at Aberdeen Airport. We expect him to arrive here within some 15-20 minutes. It's a time for the family to come together. They have lost a mother and a grandmother. They will come together in grief, in comfort, and in warmth, in a place where they know comfort and warmth and family.
We will be together tonight, and as you say, Harry is expected to arrive any moment now. But let's just talk about the coming hours and the coming days. We know, because of the statement, that King Charles, the Queen Consort, will be on their way back to London pretty shortly. They'll be back, we're told, tomorrow. But what about the body of Her Majesty the Queen?
There will be a period of national mourning. I mean, there has been a plan in place for some considerable time, possibly to be fine-tuned now that we are where we are.